You don't belong here. That was the first thing I heard when I pulled into Cedar Ridge Cabins with my truck full of tools and groceries. Not a welcome, not a smile, just that sharp, cold statement from a woman in khakis and a polo shirt standing under a clipboard like it was a weapon. I blink, stepping out of the truck. "Excuse me?" She cocks her head, eyes scanning me top to bottom. Her gaze lingers just a second too long on my skin. This is a private HOA neighborhood. Are you visiting someone? I already know what this is. The tone, the look, the smugness. I force a polite smile. Actually, I own Cabin 7. Just closed on it last week. She doesn't even try to hide her surprise. You? Really? That's the moment I should have known she wasn't going away. The place was supposed to be peace. I bought the old cedarwood cabin to get out of the city. After working 20 years as a firefighter, after a divorce that shattered my world, I needed somewhere quiet to rebuild. Cedar Ridge was perfect, tucked up in the mountains, away from traffic, noise, and judgment. The kind of place where people sip coffee on porches and watch the sunrise through pine trees. Or so I thought. I spent the first few days repairing the deck, trimming overgrown shrubs, even chopping my own firewood. I'd wake at dawn, covered in sawdust and sweat, feeling alive again. Then she started showing up. Karen. Of course her name was Karen. Blonde bob, Oakley sunglasses, clipboard always tucked under one arm like she was born holding it. Self-proclaimed president of the HOA, though I later learned she was never actually elected. At first, it was little things. This isn't the right shade of brown for exterior paint. You need to remove that hammock. It's not approved. You can't burn firewood here. It might attract wildlife. I nodded, apologized, tried to stay respectful. But something about her eyes, it wasn't just about rules. It was about power and race. I'd noticed how she waved at the white couple in Cabin 3, smiling and handing them a welcome packet. But me? She glared like I was intruding on sacred ground. The kicker? My cabin sat outside the HOA boundary line. No one, not even the board, had authority over it. I knew this. She didn't. Yet, one evening, as the sun dipped behind the ridgeline, I roasted marshmallows over a small, legal fire pit I'd installed myself. The flames danced gently. My radio played old soul music, and for once, I felt at peace. Then came the headlights. Her Range Rover crept up the gravel path, like a panther hunting prey. She stepped out, furious. "You can't do that," she snapped, pointing at the fire. "It's legal," I replied calmly. "I checked with the county. I'm not within your HOA." She stiffened. Her eyes narrowed. "We'll see about that." I thought that was the end of it. A petty woman barking up the wrong tree. But I was wrong. Because the next morning, as I'm frying eggs in the kitchen, there's a pounding at my door and a voice barking. "Open up. This is the police." The door rattles under the officer's fist. I yank it open, heart pounding, spatula still in my hand. 2 deputies stand on my porch, hands near their belts. Behind them, Karen watches from the edge of the gravel road, arms crossed, lips pursed like she's already celebrating my arrest. "Morning, sir," the taller deputy says, professional but stiff. "We got a report about an unauthorized open flame. You have a fire going." "No, sir, not right now." I step outside so they can see for themselves. Last night, I used a fire pit. Fully legal. No burn ban. I'm outside the HOA line. He glances back at Karen. She gestures wildly like she's directing traffic. He's burning trash, violating noise ordinances. This whole property's a mess. I try not to roll my eyes. You can inspect it yourself. It's just a recreational fire pit. Everything's up to code. I even called the fire marshal before installing it. The deputies exchange a look. After a few minutes walking the property, they nod. "Everything seems fine here. Just be mindful of fire safety, sir." Karen storms forward. "What do you mean fine? He's disturbing the character of this neighborhood. He's not even." She stops herself just in time, but I catch it. "Not even what?" She glares at me, then spins around and stomps back to her car. Would have been a good time to laugh. But something twists in my gut instead. That wasn't a woman with a clipboard. That was a loaded gun looking for a reason to go off. The days that followed weren't peaceful. One afternoon, I come home from town to find a bright orange violation notice duct taped to my front door. Unauthorized structure. HOA code March 4th. 12 violation. Must remove fire pit immediately. It's not even from the county. It's a fake citation, with Karen's name typed as Acting Compliance Director. Another day, I find the garden hose running full blast. Someone clearly snuck onto my property to waste water. My mailbox is bent. Mud is smeared on my doorknob. She's not just annoyed. She's escalating. So I start documenting everything. Photos, videos. I installed 2 trail cams in the trees and a doorbell cam on the porch. Every visit, every threat, every petty violation she invents. At night, I lie awake listening for footsteps. Karen doesn't just want me gone. She wants to break me. Then comes the HOA meeting. I'm not a member, but I show up anyway, folding chair in hand. The room is filled with older white residents, sipping coffee from branded Cedar Ridge mugs. Karen stands at the front like she's the mayor. I sit quietly in the back. Nobody speaks to me. She clears her throat. We need to address a serious issue. One of the properties, while technically just outside our jurisdiction, is violating the spirit of our community. Someone mumbles, "Isn't that the black guy in cabin 7? Karen smiles sweetly. I'm not naming names. But when someone flaunts our values and refuses to comply with reasonable standards, they endanger us all. I raise my hand. Mind if I say something? Gasps. Karen's smile evaporates. I've followed every county ordinance. I'm not under HOA rule, and yet I've been harassed, lied about, and targeted. I have footage, photos, witnesses. Silence. Karen fakes a laugh. This isn't personal, sir. No. I step forward. Then why did you call the cops on me for roasting marshmallows? Eyes shift across the room. For the first time, Karen looks nervous, but she isn't done, because the next day I get an email from the county. Subject: zoning complaint investigation. Possible code violation at cabin 7. And I know exactly who filed it. The zoning officer arrives on a Wednesday, just as storm clouds roll in over the ridge. He's a younger guy, clipboard in hand, polite but distant. Got a complaint about unpermitted construction on this property. I nod slowly. Let me guess, someone said I built a structure without approval? He checks his notes. A gazebo, apparently, with electrical wiring, no permit on file. I laugh, then gesture toward the fire pit. That's the gazebo. And there's no wiring, solar lights from Home Depot. All approved by county code. Want to see receipts? The officer scratches his head. Honestly, I don't think this is a big deal. I'll write it up and close the complaint. But if you get more of these, I know who's filing them, I say firmly. Karen Callister, HOA president, or at least she says she is. He hesitates. She's filed 6 complaints in the last 2 weeks. 6? That number knocks the wind out of me. It's not about a fire pit. It never was. Over the next few days, it gets worse. Karen parks near my cabin almost every night now. Just sitting there, engine idling, lights off, watching. I call the sheriff's office. They say it's not illegal unless she trespasses. I install more cameras, motion sensors. Then she crosses a line. One morning, I find deep gouges in the side of my truck. Key marks, not random, letters. GTFO. 3 little letters. A message wrapped in venom. I report it. The deputy takes a statement, nods grimly. You got any idea who'd do this? I've got one idea. They say they'll investigate, but I see it in their eyes. They don't want to touch this. That's when I call my cousin Marcus. Marcus is a civil rights attorney based in Atlanta. Sharp as hell, no patience for bullies. I lay it all out, videos, notes, screenshots of fake HOA citations, the cops being used as weapons. Damn, he mutters over the phone. You sure she knows you're outside the HOA? I haven't said it outright yet. I admit, thought maybe she'd back off on her own. He chuckles dryly. She won't. Folks like her don't stop unless they're made to. He tells me exactly what to do, what to record, what laws she's already violating. And if she files one more false report, he says, we take her to court. That night, I catch her on camera again. She's standing at the edge of my property line, flashlight pointed at my window, whispering into her phone. She turns just for a second, and I get a clear shot of her face in the glare. The next day, 2 more violation notices. One taped to my mailbox, HOA grounds violation, unauthorized signage. The other on my truck, unregistered vehicle, subject to towing. I snap pictures, peel them off, call Marcus again. We're almost there, he says. Let her keep digging. Saturday rolls around, and I head into town for groceries. I'm gone maybe 2 hours. When I return, my fire pit is gone. The stones are scattered, charred logs dumped in the woods, solar lights snapped in half like twigs. She came onto my land. She destroyed my property. I stare at the wreckage, hands shaking. This is it. This isn't just harassment. This is criminal. But instead of calling the sheriff, I call Marcus. He's already drafting a restraining order. And then I pull up the trail cam footage. There she is, clear as day, dragging my fire pit stones one by one, sweat glistening, muttering under her breath. I zoom in on the timestamp. It's from exactly 11:04 a.m. She had no idea the camera was rolling. That evening, I get a knock on my door. It's her, Karen. She's smug again, sunglasses perched high, arms crossed. I warned you, she hisses. You don't belong here. We protect this community. We keep it clean. She glances at my cameras, but doesn't seem to care. I'll have the sheriff back out here tomorrow, she says. And next time, I'll make sure they don't leave without taking you. She turns to go. I smile. Good. I say, I hope they do come. Because I've got something now. And she's about to find out exactly where her authority ends. Sunday morning breaks quiet and misty. Pine needles shimmer with dew. The sky still tinged with dawn. I sip my coffee on the porch, waiting. Then I hear it, gravel crunching under tires. Sheriff's SUV. And right behind it, Karen's white Range Rover, bumper nearly kissing patrol car like she's towing it with her hate. I don't move. I let the sheriff come to me. Deputy Michaels steps out first. Older guy, tired eyes. We've met before. His jaw clenches when he sees Karen tailing him with a smug smirk. Sir, he says, tipping his hat, we had another complaint. Unauthorized structure again, and possible noise disturbance. You mind if I take a look? Karen practically shoves past him. He rebuilt the fire pit, probably last night, violating noise ordinances again, and I know he's not supposed to. Karen, he cuts her off. Please stay back. She seethes, but folds her arms and plants herself like a statue. I gesture toward the bare dirt patch. As you can see, the fire pit's been destroyed. Michaels walks over, squats, and studies the area. Looks like it hasn't been used in a while. Nope, I say, and it wasn't me who touched it. I step off the porch slowly, pulling a flash drive from my pocket. I'd like to submit evidence of trespassing and vandalism. Trail cam footage. Time-stamped. Clear view of the suspect. He raises an eyebrow. You got video? I do. And audio. Shows a woman on my property, damaging my things without consent. And I'd like to file a formal complaint. Karen's face freezes. Don't you dare, she says, stepping forward. You're bluffing. I click the flash drive into a portable reader on my phone and tap play. The sheriff leans in. There she is, on screen, hauling rocks, stomping solar lights, muttering to herself. He doesn't belong here, ruining the view, not one of us. Karen's face drains. I can explain, she starts. No need, Michaels interrupts. You said you hadn't stepped onto his property? Well, technically the lines are marked. They are, I say calmly, pulling out a laminated map from the county surveyor's office. I printed this just for you. Karen tries to snatch it from me. Michaels stops her. I think it's time we had a serious conversation, he says, turning to her. Because right now, you're looking at criminal trespass, destruction of private property, harassment. Her mouth opens and closes like a fish gasping for air. But I'm the HOA president, she finally blurts. This is about order. You don't understand what it's like when people like him just show up and... The silence after that is ice cold. Michael stiffens. People like him? Karen flinches. That's not, I didn't mean... Yes, you did, I say quietly. Her eyes dart around, realizing too late that she's surrounded by witnesses now. Other neighbors have come out, phones raised, eyes wide. One voice from the back murmurs, "Did she really say that?" Another, "That guy's been nothing but respectful." Karen spins, trying to regain control. "You don't know what you're talking about. He's threatening me. He's aggressive. I don't feel safe." Michael's voice turns to steel. "You file false police reports. You vandalize his property. That's not fear. That's malice." Karen makes one last desperate move. She steps toward me. He's provoking me. Look at him, standing there like he owns the place. I do own it, I say, stepping forward too. "You just don't own me." The deputy lifts his hand. "Ma'am, you need to step away. Now." She freezes. Something in her finally snaps. "I'll sue you all," she screams. "You don't know who you're dealing with." But no one's listening anymore. I hand Michael's a full printed dossier. Dates, complaints, screenshots, footage, everything. He tucks it under his arm. "We'll be in touch. And you might want to talk to a lawyer." Karen stares at me like she's waiting for me to flinch. But I just sip my coffee, calm as the trees behind me, because this isn't the end. It's just the beginning of her unraveling. Monday morning. A manila envelope slides under my cabin door while I'm making breakfast. It's from Marcus. Inside, a draft lawsuit, a detailed restraining order, a formal request for HOA records under Freedom of Information Act, which Karen is legally required to provide as a self-proclaimed president of a public HOA entity. And at the bottom, my favorite part, an official letter from the county zoning department, confirming in writing, Cabin 7 falls entirely outside the jurisdiction of Cedar Ridge HOA. No ordinances, regulations, or rules enforced by said HOA apply to this property. It's signed, stamped, sealed. It's time. By noon, I've scanned everything and packaged it neatly into an email with the subject line: formal cease and desist, harassment, trespass, fraud. I send it not just to Karen, but to every homeowner in the Cedar Ridge mailing list. 10 minutes later, my phone buzzes with the first reply. "Wait, you're not even in the HOA." Then another. "This is outrageous. I've seen how she talks to you." Then another. "Thank you for standing up to her. She's been bullying people for years." The snowball has started. By afternoon, a neighbor I've barely spoken to, Miguel from Cabin 5, comes by. "She did the same thing to me last year," he says. "I just didn't have the guts to push back. But you got her cold." That evening, I drive into town and drop off copies of everything at the sheriff's department. Officer Michaels personally signs the intake receipt. On my way back, I stop at the general store. Guess who's standing in the parking lot? Screaming into her phone? Curran. She's done. The cashier says quietly, nodding toward the window. Words out. I step outside just in time to catch the tail end of her meltdown. "I don't care what the bylaws say, Marcia. He's ruining everything. He's turning everyone against me. You think I'm going to let some outsider tell me what to do?" She turns and sees me. Her face goes white, then red. "You," she hisses. "You think you've won? You think this is over? I know people. You have no idea who you're dealing with." I smile. "Actually, I do now. You're a fraud." She steps forward, but I raise my phone and hit play. From the speaker comes her voice, clear, unmistakable. "We keep this community clean. People like him don't belong here." She stops dead. I speak softly, for just her to hear. That audio's in 4 inboxes, including one reporter's. Local news loves HOA drama, especially when it smells like racism. Her mouth opens, but nothing comes out. She walks away fast, nearly stumbling. The next day, the bomb drops. The Cedar Ridge HOA board, the actual board, which Karen hijacked years ago, calls an emergency community meeting. I don't attend, but I watch from my porch as cars trickle down the hill toward the clubhouse. Later, Miguel stops by again, eyes wide. They voted her out. Unanimous. She's gone. And get this, half the people didn't even know she wasn't elected. She just started showing up years ago and declared herself president. He hands me a folded piece of paper. It's a formal letter of apology, signed by the entire board. We regret the mistreatment and harassment you experienced at the hands of a rogue individual. We welcome you to the neighborhood with open arms. Miguel grins. You shook the whole mountain, man. But Karen isn't done yet. The next morning, she drives up to my property. No clipboard, no sunglasses. Just rage. You think you're safe? She growls, eyes wild. You destroyed my reputation. My name. My life. I stare at her. No, I say, you did that all on your own. She lunges forward. But this time, she's met with flashing lights behind her. A patrol car rolls up slowly. Michael steps out. Ma'am, you've been served. Court date's in 2 weeks. You're not to come within 100 feet of this property. She starts screaming, flailing. Michaels calmly cuffs her. Neighbors gather at the edge of the road. Phone's out. Karen's voice cracks as she's led to the back of the car. You all think he's one of you. He's not. He's not supposed to be here. Click. The car door shuts. And silence settles over Cedar Ride. That night, I sit on the porch under a sky full of stars, breathing in the pine-scented air. Peace, real peace, settling into my bones. The fire pit's gone, but I'll rebuild it. The land feels different now. Lighter, freer. And somewhere in the dark, the mountain exhales. Because justice didn't just knock. It kicked the damn door in. Karen doesn't show up to court. Her attorney files a delay motion, claiming emotional distress. But the judge isn't playing games. He sets a new date and warns that failure to appear will result in a default judgment. Marcus smiles the whole way out of the courtroom. This is textbook harassment, he says. We're not just getting a restraining order, we're going for damages. By the time the second hearing rolls around, local media has caught wind. A small outlet runs a headline. HOA President Harris's black cabin owner outside her jurisdiction gets sued. The article goes viral. By noon, Karen's name is trending in the state subreddit. One of the commenters drops a bombshell. She did this in her last neighborhood, too. Harassed a mixed couple until they moved. Got sued. Settled quietly. History's repeating itself. Back in Cedar Ridge, the shift is obvious. People wave when they pass now. A few drop by with baked goods. One elderly woman, Mrs. Clark, even knocks on my door and apologizes with tears in her eyes. I knew she was wrong, she says, but I didn't say anything. I'm sorry. We let it happen. I nod. Thank you. That means more than you know. The neighborhood starts to change, not just in how they treat me, but how they treat each other. The silence that let Karen thrive, it's gone. They've seen what silence costs. Karen, on the other hand, is unraveling. She's fined for filing false police reports. The HOA sues her separately for impersonating leadership and misusing funds. Turns out she'd been collecting extra fees from a few residents under the table. The county places a lien on her house after she refuses to pay damages for my civil case. Eventually, the for sale sign goes up. Her Range Rover disappears from the ridge. Her porch sits empty. Karen's kingdom has fallen. I rebuild the fire pit the following spring. This time, I invite the neighbors. Miguel shows up with his wife. Mrs. Clark brings sweet tea and pie. Even Deputy Michaels comes by off-duty with a 6-pack of soda. We sit around the new fire, watching the flames flicker, the night warm and buzzing with summer sounds. Someone asks me, why didn't you just move? I pause, then smile, because I shouldn't have to. They nod, and we sit there, peaceful, the stars overhead stretching wide and endless. Later that night, I walk the property line. The cameras still hum quietly in the trees, a reminder what I endured, but also what I overcame. In the silence, I think about all the times I second-guessed myself, all the times I thought about giving in, packing up, and leaving the mountain to her. But I didn't, because standing your ground, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, is how change begins, not just for yourself, but for everyone watching. The next morning, I get a letter from the new HOA board. It reads, "We'd like to invite you to consult with us on new community standards, ones built on transparency, inclusion, and respect." I laugh, shaking my head. Then I pick up a pen and write back. I'm happy to help, but not as a member, as a neighbor. Justice wasn't loud. It didn't wear a badge or shout from a podium. It looked like a rebuilt fire pit, a neighborhood learning to see past fear, a man sipping coffee on his porch, finally in peace. And it felt damn good